Hello and welcome to another episode of Anime Explained. I'm Shergok, your host, and today we are going to take a little look into One Punch Man's lore, now that Season 3 has officially begun. Because a lot more is happening there story-wise and action-wise than in Season 1 and 2 combined. And I think I will start by explaining the most important characters of the anime. And I will try to keep it as spoiler-free as possible. And I will simply start with one of the characters who is practically a main character in the third season of One Punch Man, and the younger sister of Tatsumaki, the terrible Blizzard and the leader of the Blizzard group, Fubuki, the number 1 rank of the B-class heroes. And the hero ranks, by the way, go from C to B to then A and to finally S at the very top. And fun fact, Fubuki is supposedly the most popular character of the entire series, right after Saitama himself. Probably because she represents one of the more complex characters and is not only well developed in terms of story and background. And yes, Tatsumaki is 28 while Fubuki is just 23 years old. But before we're going to take a closer look at any of this, let me quickly thank my Patreons for supporting this channel, and as usual, I also say special thanks to all of my Patreons listed here. And with that said, we are going to finally get to the topic at hand. Imagine you are being born with incredible psychic gifts. You can not only bend spoons, but also crush metal bars, levitate things, and stop punches right in front of your face. Not with muscles, not with energy shields, not even with a movement of your hand, just with a mere thought. Imagine being a being that is called an Esper, a human with psionic abilities. Your thoughts influence the world in a very direct and physical way. Your unspoken words carry weight, and threats that cause fear and terror among your fellow humans are child's play for you and just an annoyance in almost any case. You ward them off with almost playful ease, send them flying through the air, repeatedly smash them onto the ground, twist their necks, or crush them silently with mere mental efforts. The power of your mind is not a metaphor, it's a force that manifests your very own will. In an instant you unleash storms, in an instant you puncture your enemies with supersonic projectiles that were mere rubble moments ago. In an instant you crush them into a pulp, you snap opponents in two like matchsticks. You float in the sky not through wind, drones or propellers, but through your sheer will alone. Your power influences the landscape, causes meteorites to crash down on Earth and destroy monsters that would be an insane danger, even for other S-class heroes. And now imagine what it is like to live in the shadow of your older sister, Tatsumaki. You also have psychic abilities, but they are far more limited and constantly overshadowed by her. This is the story of Tatsumaki's younger, weaker sister, Fubuki. While the older sister's name means tornado, yours is Blizzard. While the older sister holds the S rank and is only surpassed by Blast, who is never around, making her the de facto strongest active member of the S rank heroes. Fubuki, the younger sister, just plays second fiddle. She may be physically well developed, but regarding her own psionic abilities, she cannot nearly keep up with Tatsumaki. Fubuki's Esper abilities are at best below the middle of the A rank, but she remains at the top of B rank, similar to how Sweet Mask holds the A rank number 1 spot just to prevent weaker beings from rising to the S rank. Fubuki has remained into B rank consciously, not to hinder others from rising, but to instead catch them and recruit them and create power structures around herself, compensating with mass for what she lacks in class. While Tatsumaki famously always works alone, Fubuki gathers weaker B-rank heroes around her, hoping to one day surpass her sister. An attitude that slowly begins to change only through contact with Saitama. Only through him she slowly starts to believe that she actually can improve on her own strength in a meaningful way. Because behind her cold exterior and her image, her elegant outfit and her authoritative aura that just surrounds her, Fubuki is deeply insecure, due to her inferiority compared to her older sister. With an authoritative demeanor and mafia tactics, she has built a power base in the rather insignificant B rank, but she considers herself incapable of achieving a higher A rank power. And due to Sweet Mask's gatekeeping of the S rank, the elite status is completely unattainable for her, at least in her own mind. And I don't want to go too much into the dynamics between the sisters and how it all develops here, and we will also leave out their school days for now, but Fubuki, let it be revealed, is one of the most complex characters in terms of motivation and their conflict and emotions, and all of this just scratches the surface. And with that, we come to our own strength as a hero in One Punch Man. And these are of course her still impressive abilities as an Esper. Her psychokinesis may pale in comparison to Tatsumaki, but Fubuki is still an immensely powerful user of telekinesis. And we will start with her sensory abilities. Fubuki can telepathically contact her sister, and she can sense when she is nearby, or when she or other Espers for that matter are using, channeling or unleashing enormous amounts of psychic energy. However, her understanding and control extends not only to metaphysical things, but also to matter itself. Through her immense power as an Esper, Fubuki can actually manipulate atoms and molecules. For example, just as she can stop a baseball flying towards her mid-air, she can also slow the movement of molecules and thus lower the temperature, which explains her blizzard name. But her psionic abilities also extend to living tissue. Similar to how Alakazam or Mewtwo could use recovery to heal themselves, Fubuki was also capable of healing herself and others at that. And she is also capable of transferring energy from one being to another, much like Kazuma. In addition to these support abilities, she is also capable of powerful attacks and a formidable defense in battle. For instance, she can deflect an attack from a dragon-level monster if she unleashes and channels all her power at once, which is truly an impressive feat for a B-class hero, although Fubuki is, strength-wise, closer to lower A rank. However, unlike her sister, she lacks the energy and stamina to fight at this level permanently, and just one of these barriers would put her basically out of the fight from sheer exhaustion. And with normal psionic barriers, however, Fubuki can keep weaker monsters easily in check and can fixate and manipulate pretty much anything and anyone with the strength of a B-rank hero or just below as she pleases. She can, for example, stop bullets in mid-air, like Neo from the Matrix could, or build mental barriers that protect her even from mind control. Fubuki's signature attack, however, is the Jigoku Arashi, or Hellstorm. Fubuki creates a vortex of all kinds of rubble, debris, and air that encloses the opponent and pierces them from all sides with high-velocity projectiles. However, these are not 9mm rounds, but stones, steel beams, or masonry that moves just as fast, but have much greater impact due to their own mass and weight. Another attack in her arsenal, or rather a variation of this first attack, is the Nen Ryu Kaiten Arashi, a whirlwind that is not made of air, but mostly of her own psionic energy. This ability is more of a defense in nature. She can use it, for example, to deflect the psychic energies of other Espers. And because the opponent's energy is merely redirected and not neutralized, Fubuki can even deflect attacks from far stronger Espers than herself with this very own technique. But the actual strength of this storm is its anti-psionic property. Once caught in this vortex, the many erratic sparks of Fubuki's own psychic potential ensures that the opposing Esper can no longer use their own psionic abilities. This is similar to the Disturb Magic spell from Mushoku Tensei, in that one uses one's own energy and mana to suppress the shaping and channeling of the opponent's energy and mana. Or to illustrate simply and clearly how it works, imagine someone can run faster than you. But you can effectively and simply counter their speed and stamina by simply tripping them over, so that they will fall flat on their face. And the third signature move of Fubuki is the Nendo Kanashibari, a universal full body grip that completely immobilizes the target simply because of pressure that is now weighting down on the entire body of it, preventing any significant movement energy from even accumulating, similar to how a buried target under meters and meters of earth and soil cannot move their little finger. Which brings us now to the downsides of these abilities, because the psychic potential of the Esper sisters is still limited, and the excessive use of the psionic powers can render both Fubuki and Tatsumaki to be completely unable to move or to bleed from their eyes due to exhaustion, because the own psionic abilities take a toll on the body. And again, our brain is after all nothing more than our true self controlling a kind of meat robot. So that's that. But with all of that said, Fubuki's strength are also limited in another way. If the opponent's sheer power is stronger than Fubuki's, they can just move fine, and they are barely affected and slowed down by a psionic grip. And of course, if they have tough armor, or just overall way stronger, they can easily endure the impact of the projectiles that Fubuki is flinging at them. And of course, if they are faster than the very projectiles, they can also easily dodge them. And I know that many other lore channels would now do a long segment somewhere about her clothes and her appearance, but I mean, you can see what she looks like. Noble green, mafia aesthetic, and shoulder-length dark green hair, as well as a pearl necklace and high heels, adore her well-developed, plot-rich body. And she is also tall and looks more developed than her sister, which is ironic given the difference in psionic power. And generally speaking, the anime role of Esper applies here too. The smaller and cuter they look, the stronger their psionic abilities have to be. I mean, look at this cute fellow here. And with that said, that's all for today. And now it's your turn. What do you think about Fubuki, about her sister, about her abilities, about One Punch Man and the third season of it? Let me know it down in the comment section. And while you type, I say thank you very much for watching. Thanks to all subscribers, thanks to all members of my Patreon. And as usual, I say my special thanks to Other Daddy Other, ASK, Bad Guy Yee, Bad Burrito 316, Beezer, Ben C, Brandon S, Brandon D, Chrissy, Crowley 0221, Sia, Crystal Prime, Dead Slime, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Demon Xenomorph 1987, Devin Downen, Ding Dong, Din Pep, Dragonlord Placido Saxophone, Duckwagon, Dunkler Krieger, Dystopia, Dystopia II, Enigmatic Unicorn, Feralchivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Huster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, J. Morris, Chromius, Kyle R, Lee K. Long, Legendarius, Le Louche Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Loverazer, Merowek, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Nope, Oh Hell No, Normal Toad, Oh Kill, Overlord General Gaspar, Paddy Pentum, Personage, Ruru, Primus 11, Rhinomere, Q&A Caracos P, Shergox's Daddy, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Sir Axolotl, Super Tier Magic Batista Bomb, Supreme Cheese, Staris, Ted, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss, Rocket Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, Xenokai, and Sonagon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon on my next video.